you seem to be an accomplice.
The former Minister of Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, and the former Executive Director of the defunct Uganda National Roads Authority, Kagina, appeared before the Physical Infrastructure Committee of Parliament. They were here to furnish the committee with the information on the inquiry into the running of the Kampala-Entebbe Expressway. It follows the concerns that the government could fail to repay within the set timelines the $350 million loan, approximately 1.3 trillion shillings at today's exchange rate, that the government borrowed to build the 51-kilometer dual carriageway. The majority of the queries revolved around why the contract to operate and maintain the expressway had been awarded to a foreign firm, Egis Operations Limited, at exorbitant fees. The firm was allocated a lump sum of 122 billion shillings over a contract period spanning 5 years, despite the data available to Uganda National Roads Authority at the time showing that about 146 billion shillings would be collected annually from the payment of the road tolls.
The question is, from 146 and you give a contract of 122, what informed you?
Grant me permission to give you a written answer to that.
MPs argue that the contract left the government with so little to earn from the project.
So, when you look at the difference, it's very minute for the government.
They questioned why government entities were never considered to collect the tolls. Kagina defended that there were hardly any local capabilities at the time to manage the nascent toll road project in Uganda.
Why wasn't URA considered? Perhaps it could have been, but we would have to really change the operations of URA because it was not just a collection. When you go on the project and you have seen the contract of Egis was not just tolling. Remember, they had to do the lighting. I didn't think we were going to get a revenue collector now to go and start do lighting.
Egis is reported to have recorded losses throughout the 5-year period that lapsed in May 2026, part of the reason stated to have led to its questionable exit. However, the committee pointed out that the declared losses could have been a deliberate move targeted at undercutting the government.
Realize it. Because we have looked at the growth trends of traffic on that road, and surprisingly, they started growing from 2022 at a very high rate, and now they have started dropping. I don't know if cars have stopped using that road based on the amount of money you are banking.
Clearly, there is deliberate under-declaration of revenue. And there is deliberate system blockade to deny the country to know what is the actual.
It was observed to Kagina's confirmation that Egis had failed to implement the contract to the latter by, for instance, failing to install traffic monitoring equipment to provide accurate information on the volumes alongside the collected revenue.
We had several problems with the company. I don't know if they have been said before. We began to notice that there was slippage, that the independent traffic monitoring system, the ITMS, which was supposed to come in, I think 6 months, was not coming on board. The way in motion was not coming on board. There was a challenge with the data that they were giving us when we were doing reconciliation, and we were seeing gaps in the reconciliation.
This attracted a plethora of questions on why the contract with Egis was not terminated. The committee was told that the attempts to terminate were there.
We had a challenge because this company, other than being just a company, it was a French company, and then there was protocols and diplomatic issues also to be considered. I don't know how many times we met with the ambassador on this matter.
I don't think it was the best interest to terminate the contract. It would have been perhaps more expensive and more disruptive to terminate it. What was agreed on was to take out of the contract the options or the part of the works that the contractor had failed to perform.
It is indicated that the operational losses Egis could have incurred had led it to exit the project 2 months before the 5-year contract lapsed in May 2026. But the MPs hold that Egis may not have exited the project. They premise their view on the observation that Egis had recommended Pinnacle Security Limited, which it has subcontracted from the inception of the project, to take over the job.
Because you are the general manager during Egis.
Yes.
And you are the general manager at Pinnacle.
No, I've been road manager. It's a title, sir, at Pinnacle Securities. The contract asks for a road manager.
So the road manager is the general manager?
Pretty much so, yes, sir.
So you are the general manager, road manager, sorry, at Egis and at Pinnacle?
I was general manager stroke road manager at Egis.
So at Pinnacle they dropped the general manager title?
Correct.
But you still do both functions?
I still lead
The lawmakers wondered how the authorities could have cleared Pinnacle given the recommendation, yet its competency is in the field of security.
Can you tell this committee, where did Pinnacle, a domestic firm, get experience from? Because when you go to their website, they have nothing to do with the road toll. They have only two things they offer. One, they provide security.
On the road, Egis subcontracted Pinnacle.
When?
From 2021.
To collect the money?
Yeah.
To collect the money?
Provide the toll collector individuals to collect that cash.
So you recruited?
Yes, Pinnacle did the recruitment.
They also questioned why there was never competitive bidding for the job. Officials from the Ministry of Works pointed out that Pinnacle, which Egis subcontracted right from the inception of the project, had been envisaged as a local company that would assume the responsibility, having built capacity and competency. Nevertheless, they pointed out that the award of the contract was never an outright ticket.
There was no automatic decision to say, once you've done 5 years, you take over. You'd have to be assessed. Now, whether they have been assessed and they were cleared, that I don't know, because that was beyond my tenure.
They stated that late initiation of the procurement processes had left them with no option but to extend the contract, which yet again was allocated 36 billion shillings for a one-year contract. Jackson Onyango, NTV, at Parliament.